So if you're new to Adventure Cross and you're kind of wondering what it's all about, well, Adventure Cross is all about having joined up journeys on-road and off-road. So partially on tarmac, partially on a mix of bridleways, forest roads, byways open to all traffic and trails. So it's a mix up on-road, off-road. So it kind of follows what's next is what kind of a bike is ideal for Adventure Cross. Well, when we recce the routes for Cycling Weekly's Adventure Cross series and put them together, we put them together whilst riding cyclocross bikes rather than mountain bikes. Okay, so here's an Orange RX9. This is my own personal Adventure Cross bike. Aluminium frame and fork, and this bike's fitted with cable operated disc brakes. Now, I found the cable operated disc to be a huge step up from the old school cyclocross cantilever brakes. I always found that they took an awful lot to keep them perfect adjustment, and then you got very accelerated rim wear with them as well. So the discs, lots of braking power, lots of modulation. I think they're absolutely superb, and if you're doing a lot of Adventure Cross style riding, it's definitely something. If you don't have them on your bike just now, consider those as a given for your next upgrade. What makes it really different from a road bike and makes it into a cross bike or an Adventure Cross bike? Well, if you look at the geometry of the frame, it's all a little bit more stretched out. It's got a slightly longer wheelbase, probably a couple of inches more than your sort of average road bike of a similar size, and loads of tyre and mud clearance. That's the big factor here. If you look at the clearance that you've got there, you know, you can easily get a 35, 38, 40C tyre in there and still have loads of mud clearance around the seat stays, round the back of the bottom bracket, and then at the side of the chain stays, and then under the fork crown as well. So if you ride somewhere where there's lots of glutinous mud, this kind of bike is the perfect tool for the job. Gearing wise, this bike's fitted with a compact chain set. It's a 3450, and it's got a 10-speed 11 through to 28 cassette. So that bottom gear for the Lake District of 3428, that's as big a bottom gear as I would want. If I'm not in very good shape, I'd be looking for something a little bit lower than that, to be honest with you. 34, 30, 32, something like that. Maybe even putting a medium arm rear mech or a long arm mountain bike rear mech on it, just to give a bit more chain wrap, to give me that little bit of a lower gear. So those are the kind of aspects I'd be looking at. But all in for the price point, Orange RX9, ideal Adventure Cross bike. So here's another option for an Adventure Cross bike. I mean, one of the great things about Adventure Cross is it's not open to one style of bike. It's always interesting to see what comes out on top. Mountain bikes come out on top, or do the cross bikes come out on top? Cross bikes are better in the tarmac and the firm stuff. The mountain bikes are sometimes better in the technical climbs or the more technical descents on the routes that we put together. So another option is to modify your mountain bike. So this is a giant XTC frame. It would normally take a 26-inch mountain bike wheel, but you'll see it actually takes a 700C wheel and leaves you still plenty of mud clearance there with a 35C tyre. So that's another option for you. You can either modify your existing mountain bike and put some suitable wheels and tyres on, or maybe just change the tyres to something a little bit narrower that run a bit better on the road. Or if you've got an old hardtail sitting about in the shed and you're not sure what you want to do with it, make it into a monster crosser and put some 700Cs on it, put some cross tyres on it, and away you go. Okay, here's another take on an Adventure Cross bike. Slightly different this one. This is a custom build that I put together a good few years ago now for my partner Cheryl. She's a bit more of a mountain biker and wasn't convinced that a drop bar cyclocross bike was the way forward for her. So we've set this bike up. It's a cyclocross frame, aluminium frame with a carbon Kinesis fork. And we've set this bike up with flat bars. So slightly more upright descending position, slightly wider than dropped cyclocross bars. So a little bit more control, a little bit more finesse in the steering, and a really authoritative braking position as well. So we've set this bike up, instead of a standard cyclocross canty brake on the back, we've put a mountain bike V-brake on it. We've put a ceramic coated rim on, so that cuts down that wear into the rim and making for inefficient braking. So you've got lots of modulatable braking power there as well. And it's been set up with a cable operated disc in the front, so really sure-footed braking up front. The other kind of interesting thing about this bike is we've set it up with a mountain bike triple, but with a reasonably wide ratio road bike cassette at the back. If you live somewhere like the Lake District or Wales or up in Scotland where you've got lots of prolonged climbing, this setup with the triple at the front, you're never going to be over geared. You know, you might not always need the lowest gear, but it's lovely to know it's there if you do need it. So this is a setup that I'm considering myself just now, and all I can say is Cheryl's been riding the wheels off this bike for the last 3-4 years, and it works as a setup. It really works for adventure cross. So what makes an ideal adventure cross bike? Well, we've looked at a few options. You can go down the off the peg route, something like the Orange RX9. Really exciting sector of the cross bike market just now. It's really developing. A lot of the product out there has got disc brakes. There's some really sexy bikes coming along in titanium. So there's lots of innovation going on in that sector just now. You can go down the custom route, you know, the likes of the Yeti. You can go down flat bars, you can go triple chain sets. So there's a custom route available to you as well. You can of course modify your existing mountain bike, just even slightly, just maybe with a change of tyres to put something a little bit narrower on and it rolls a little bit better on the tarmac sections. Or if you've got an old hardtail mountain bike or an old bike suitable frame sitting in the shed, you can build it up as your kind of homebrewed monster adventure crosser extraordinaire. And I think that's one of the things that really appeals to people about adventure cross is it's not one specific bike that you need to ride on it. You know, you can home build, you can buy off the peg, you can go custom. It's very much an event series that's run what you brung. As long as you've got tyres that are going to handle the terrain, just ride the wheels off it. It ain't what you ride, it's the way you ride it.